You have a plan. Getting a loan to do it shouldn't feel like an adventure or have you jumping through hoops. It should be quick, convenient, and affordable. It should be a VM eLoan powered by Caroland, the completely online loan solution that fits your lifestyle. Apply from anywhere on any device in 15 minutes, get your answer within 1 business day, and receive your funds within 1 to 3 business days. Get the money you need when you need it. VM eLoan powered by Caroland. Get funded fast. That room you want to fix up? Now you can do it quickly and affordably. Get the money you need to spice up your space. VM eLoan, powered by Caroland. Get funded fast.
Any important financial decision, you should get educated. For that reason, we're producing this series of webinars aimed at ensuring our clients and potential clients are getting educated financially. We're aiming to help you to understand the importance of managing your financial affairs responsibly. Tonight's webinar, under the theme Spice Up Your Life, has a great lineup of speakers. Joelle Smith will be talking on the topic of redecorating on a budget, and I'm looking forward to her helpful and stylish tips. Cleela Reynolds will be speaking on the topic of renovating your finances and giving some great tips on how to give yourself a financial makeover. Finally, Craig Stephen will be talking about our VM eLoan, powered by Caroland product, and how many Jamaican consumers have already used their loan to spice up their lives. During Craig's session, there will be a giveaway, so please stay tuned for that to have the possibility to earn a very valuable prize. Before I hand over to our first speaker this evening, I should add that we love questions at Caroland. The easiest way to ask a question tonight is to type it in the comments section wherever you're watching us, whether that's on Facebook or YouTube or some other channel. Please just type your question there at any time in the comments, and we'll be sure to make sure that we answer as many as we can as we go through tonight's speakers. So, without further ado, let me hand over to Craig Stephen to introduce our first speaker this evening. Thank you.
I will speak about later. Let's see if you pick up on it. She has over 10 years of experience in the interior design and event decor industry and has a passion for creating spaces that are both beautiful and functional. Joelle is a member of the American Society of Interior Designers, ACID, and has been recognized for her work in local and international publications. Welcome, Joelle.
You sharing that. Actually going to share my screen here, and welcome to everyone who is viewing. Um, just a moment while I do that. I'm just going to go ahead and start speaking until I share the screen. So, as was mentioned, I am going to be speaking about budget-friendly home upgrades, particularly as it relates to um, how you bring in some extra income, if you're doing an Airbnb or long-term rental, and just how can you save some money while still making your space look and feel the way you like it to. Um, so at the very core of it, really what we'll be speaking about is we all have the same goal, and it's really just to create magazine worthy homes at the end of the day. So that's really what the topic is going to be about. And why am I equipped to handle this? Well, based on the intro, you already know that I have 10 years of experience in interior design, and another 12 years in managing investment portfolios for high net worth clients. So I know design and I know money. So I'm good at saving it for you. And so first things first, let's talk a little bit about budget. And it's not something we like to talk about. I think, count the number of times I've met with a prospective client and they're comfortable sharing their renovation budget. I think it's just, there's always some apprehension. And this usually comes from a place of being unsure about whether, they're budgeting too much or too little. And, they make a lot of assumptions. But really, a budget isn't used as an indication of how much money I am going to spend. It's really about how much money you are able to spend. And, so that at the end of the day, everyone involved has reasonable expectations. And it doesn't have to be me, it can be a contractor, it can be, you're just even for yourself to be able to manage your cash flow. And, the most unsuccessful renovation projects are the result of unmet expectations. So, you've done your personal financial statement, for example, and you can afford to spend $1 million on your bathroom reno. But you've already told your designer that, look, no, just give me something nice. So she comes to you with a $2 million design. And, the moment you fall in love with that design, you've basically fallen down the rabbit hole. So your expectations aren't being met. You may either decide not to embark on the home project or, something, or you end up to incur unnecessary debt. So it's critical to determine your personal budget and highlight that early in the discussion. So of course, you want to have an idea of what makes sense. And there is no standard rule of thumb. The average cost, let's say, to renovate a bathroom is usually around 150 US per square foot. And for kitchens, around 200 US per square foot, which is about $29,000. If you're, let's say, furnishing a space, then the average is around, for a 2-bedroom apartment, it's around 20,000 US dollars. So, where do you actually get the biggest bang for your buck? And I mentioned previously kitchens and bathrooms, because that is really the biggest return on investments when it comes on to home renovations. And, there are other things that you can look at. But, home buyers and renters are more likely to spend a premium on a house with an updated kitchen or bathroom. So they're also, as well, I should add, more likely to spend on homes that have at least one bathroom per occupant. No, that's not always possible. Sometimes there's just no square footage to add another bathroom. But what information like that, what it does help you to do is to determine, let's say you're doing a renovation and you want to add an extra room, a bonus room, or a home office. You know that removing a bathroom is not going to be the answer. So what are some of the other things that you can do to improve the aesthetics and update your space that don't cost a lot of money? Things like removing outdated popcorn ceilings, changing switch plates and socket covers. So a lot of our switch plates are those beige colored plates. And those are also outdated. So, sometimes it's great, unless you have beige walls and it blends right in, they're probably not something that you want to use. So switching out those to nice decora white ones just to sort of update it and make it modern. Replace receptacles and bulbs with light fixtures. So homes come with the standard receptacle and you screw in the bulb. That's not what people want to see in a modern updated space. So you just go, and I mean, you have a plethora of options in terms of light fixtures. Change those out. Add plants, a fresh coat of paint. For renters, they typically like neutral colors. Modernize your shower heads. And it doesn't mean you have to go in and dig out the entire mixer. You can simply screw off the head that's there, replace it with a nice rain shower head, and automatically you've modernized it. You don't even have to retile, so you can regrout your tiles. And I should have also mentioned, as I go along, you'll see pictures just helping to sort of give you an indication of some modern spaces, and all the images that we have here are done by me, if walls could talk. So other things you can do: change interior doors and handles. If you're, let's say, doing a kitchen, you don't have to redo your entire kitchen. You can always repaint the cabinets if it's wood and the wood is in good condition. You can change the cabinet pulls and update those. And of course, decluttering is one of the easiest ways to just really modernize your space. And of course, there are things to consider when you're modernizing your space. Functionality is one of them. So, you have to ask yourself these questions. Is whatever it is you're doing functional? Is this kitchen design functional? Is this bathroom functional? Will it add value? Would it add usefulness? So for example, in a living room, a sofa is a functional piece. It adds comfort. It's also one of the largest pieces. But is it functional in terms of where you're going to place the sofa? Are you going to put it in a walkway? Is it going to impede circulation or flow? And that, things like that can create a fire hazard. So asking these questions prevents you from spending on items that you really don't need, and over accessorizing. So you'll go into a store and you'll see a number of things that draw your attention. Does it mean that it's functional for the space? And so once you continue to ask yourself those for kitchen renovations, so selecting the right materials and layout for your kitchen is important, and it will save you from making costly mistakes. So, plan your kitchen around your appliance layout. So an island, for example, that you place between your sink and your stove is not a good example of an efficient kitchen layout, because of course you want to be able to access your stove, your sink, and your fridge very, very seamlessly. And because if you don't, then you have the potential for fires, or you may end up hurting yourself rushing from one end of the kitchen to the other. So select durable materials, have an efficient layout, use for a kitchen. Lumber wood, preferably treated wood or engineered wood, holds up very well. Engineered wood, in fact, holds up a lot better sometimes than lumber or hardwood, because those don't get eaten by termites. Um, invest in solid countertops. Stones like quartz, granite require a lot less maintenance than, let's say, marble for kitchen surfaces. And they're also less likely to break or become damaged. So spend the time and, do your research. Don't just rush into those big ticket items. And another thing to focus on is scale. So the number one reason that the average home doesn't end up looking like a magazine is usually because people make mistakes when it comes on to scale. As humans, we're programmed to see things relative to each other. So this is why we're more inclined towards symmetrical objects or spaces. And so the pros know how to use this information to their advantage. And, common mistakes people make are, buying furniture that's too big or buying furniture that's too small. For example, if you're mounting wall art above your sofa, it should take up at least 2/3 of the space above the sofa. And if you're purchasing a rug, for example, all the pieces that are in the space, all the furniture items should really be touching the rug at a minimum. So I'm about to give you some life-changing advice. Stop buying rugs that are 5 feet by 8 feet. It's the most commonly sold rug, but it's the least feasible rug for space in most cases, unless you have an extremely tiny room. I mean, start at a minimum of 8 feet by 10 feet, and it's going to make such a big difference to your space. Another life changer is curtains. So a lot of people tend to hang curtains right above the window line, which is not where you want it to be. You really want to make your ceilings look as high as possible because it creates a very luxurious feel. So hang your ceilings from floor to ceiling where possible. Hang your curtains from floor to ceiling where possible. It's going to make a big difference. You also look at things like sustainability. So we really need to be designing with the future in mind. We can't just design for now, right? How are we going to be impacting future generations? And, are we doing things like saving water by installing toilets and fixtures that are efficient? And, that's a very easy thing to do. Are we buying energy efficient appliances? Are we looking for that Energy Star rating? Energy efficient light bulbs. So, halogen bulb fixtures you really shouldn't be using. You really want to be looking for like LED fixtures that use LED bulbs. Um, are you installing solar panels? Because those tend to reduce the energy cost and the impact on the environment if you do it properly. And then you could also end up selling back to the grid. So you end up selling back electricity to JPS. So they become your customer, which is way more ideal than the other way around. And imagine that you could be in that position to become their energy provider, and clean energy at that, which is good. Are we creating a dust nuisance for our neighbors? That's also something that you should consider when it comes down to sustainable design, because you don't want to affect the health of those around you. Are we planting enough trees? Are we building energy efficient homes? And when I say that, I mean just in terms of architecture. So a lot of times people hire draftsmen that don't consider things like window placements. You want to be able to maximize sunlight and ventilation, but you also want to do it in such a way that you don't, the place is not continuously hot, and therefore you have to be running the fan, you have to be turning on the AC. So ventilation is extremely important. And while great design doesn't always come cheap, there are ways to save money. And some of the ways when you're doing your renovations are with tiles. So we have a great selection of tiles in Jamaica, and if you spend the time to shop around, you can really find great looking tiles that fit within your budget. So for instance, if you choose mosaic tiles everywhere, it's gonna be a much higher budget than, let's say, you choose smaller tiles or even large format tiles. Sometimes the price is expensive, but they cover more square footage, and so you need to look at the price per square foot as opposed to the price per tile. Lighting is another thing. As I mentioned before, you want to look at LED lighting, and then there's no GCT charged on LED lights, LED bulbs. So you're already saving 15%. And fixtures that require less light bulbs is also a good way to save. Construction materials, sometimes you can look at how you balance the use of the material to reduce the overall cost. So where can you use drywall versus concrete, etc. And even with furniture, so you repurpose and refurbish what it is that you already have, and that's in good condition. So for instance, in this picture at the bottom here, you'll see where we renovated this kitchen area, but the client had this beautiful, dining room. Hardwood mahogany, table and chair, chairs, and we just reuse them. I mean, they were in perfect condition, and so you can juxtapose traditional with modern and still create that nice, clean, renovated look that you're going for. And it's also another aspect of ensuring that you're focusing on sustainable design. So I'm gonna end with something critical, and it's the most important, and that's make sure that you have a good team. And it doesn't mean that you have to hire a designer or a contractor. If you're a DIY person, you can go ahead, but you still need a team. Don't try to do everything all by yourself. You still need professionals. If you're gonna DIY, you have to do it with help. You get a good plumber, a good tiler, a good carpenter, etc. So you save time and money when you hire the right team. And I'm gonna stop here. And if you have any questions, please feel free to field them.
All right. I think, do we take the ad first? Do we run the ad first?
You have a plan. Getting a loan to do it shouldn't feel like an adventure or have you jumping through hoops. It should be quick, convenient, and affordable. It should be a VM eLoan powered by Carland, the completely online loan solution that fits your lifestyle. Apply from anywhere on any device in 15 minutes, get your answer within 1 business day, and receive your funds within 1 to 3 business days. Get the money you need when you need it. VM eLoan powered by Carland. Get funded fast. That room you want to fix up?
Thank you, Joel. Thank you for that informative presentation, and I'm sure we have a lot of questions, right? And our first question is, are there any home improvements that you would recommend doing yourself? You know, those do-it-yourself at-home things. I know they can be dangerous, but is there anything not too dangerous that you could recommend?
There are lots of things that you could do yourself. I mean, a lot of the small things that I mentioned before, you can do yourself. So things like, changing out your. So a lot of people can change light fixtures. I don't know. So I actually, funny enough, I was talking to a friend of mine recently, and she was like, "Oh, I just, I went and bought a light fixture and I changed it." Some light fixtures are pretty easy to install, but if you don't want to go that in depth, you can do things like you can buy furniture, you can do that yourself. You know, doing things like painting, you can do yourself. And I find that if you go to the paint shop and let's say you even carry a picture of a room that you like, they're very good at matching the color that you're looking for. Um, and I mean, just very simple things like that. You can call any family and friends to help you out. Um, yeah.
Another one here, because you did mention about the the light fixtures, energy saving bulbs, and there's a question. I want to be more energy conscious. What's the first appliance or fixture that you'd recommend upgrading?
Um, you want to be more energy conscious. So typically, you can look at, I mean, well, solar panels are probably going to give you the biggest bang for your buck in terms of saving energy. And that's a long-term fix. Clearly, it's going to require a cash outlay at the beginning, but it's worth it in the end. Appliances that generate a lot of heat, refrigerators, stoves, are good examples of areas that you can start with.
Start with the big things first.
Yeah.
All right. And finally, I'm working from home now. So what are some quick tips to improve my general space? Because I know it's difficult for some people, especially if you have large families, and to find all that space. Kids are are doing school from home, and sometimes difficult for the parents to work from home while the kids are at home. So what would you recommend in terms of improving the space?
You mentioned, I mean, working from home is a challenge, especially if there's a family. You want to be able to carve out, just even if we don't all have the luxury of setting up a whole guest room. If you have a guest room, then yes, it's amazing. You can convert that into a work from home space. You buy a desk, chair, etc. That's not the case for a lot of people. So you try to carve out a little nook in your home. Usually, people will have, let's say, a closet that might not be, you might not be using it efficiently. You can always install some shelving up at the top to store whatever it is that you were storing in it before. You install a nice shelf at table height, and then you just add a chair. And so when you are not at work, you basically just close the closet door, you move the chair, and then it's like it was never there. So it's not taking up a lot of space. So if you have limited space, you want to find areas that can double as a home office.
Much. I think that was help. That was a lot of information, and I can tell you personally what I did at home. My wife turned. We asked the neighbors if we could use the staircase because right under the staircase there was space, and generally they don't like to pack up the space. But we were allowed to put a table and chairs there, and we set up a little school area for my 5-year-old who does homeschooling now. So that's what I did personally to try and create more space. So thank you very much for your presentation, Joel. I think the answers to the questions were wonderful, and we will now continue into the rest of our agenda.
You have a plan. Getting a loan to do it shouldn't feel like an adventure or have you jumping through hoops. It should be quick, convenient, and affordable. It should be a VM eLoan powered by Careland, the completely online loan solution that fits your lifestyle. Apply from anywhere on any device in 15 minutes, get your answer within 1 business day, and receive your funds within 1 to 3 business days. Get the money you need when you need it. VM eLoan powered by Careland. Get funded fast. That room you want to fix up? Now you can do it quickly and affordably. Get the money you need to spice up your space. VM eLoan, powered by Caroline. Get funded fast.
It's a pleasure for me to welcome our next presenter, Kalila Reynolds, who almost got me in trouble the last time she was here with my wife. And I know this is the Spice Up Your Life series, but get your head out of the gutters, people. She came with some very informative information about, you call it the envelope rule, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Or the envelope concept.
We're talking about budgeting.
We're talking about budgeting. And I went home and I went to my mom and I got all her old envelopes from the house and brought them home and packed them up on the dresser. And my wife came home furious. What are all these old stuff packed up on the dresser? So I had to explain to her the whole concept about the envelope concept that I learned. So that was the trouble that you got me in, right? Here we have with us Kalila Reynolds, who is an award-winning journalist specializing in business and finance. Her many social media features and podcasts are gaining rapid popularity. As users are attracted to her unique ability to make business, finance, and economic news engaging and easy to understand. That's the key. Not just engaging, but that it's easy to understand. Since 2014 to 2020, Kalila hosted the #1 rated news and current affairs morning radio show on Nationwide News Network, where she is the business and finance editor and is considered Jamaica's leading and most influential business and finance journalist. Welcome, Khalida.
Thank you very much, Craig. And just a little update, I'm not the business and finance editor anymore at NNN,
Okay.
so I've been on my own since October of 2020. I'm now CEO of Kalila Reynolds Media Limited, where I like to describe myself as the chief evangelist, the chief financial evangelist, because we go tell it on the mountain. We spread the good news about investing, finance, and how you can renovate your finance, for example, as is the topic of today's presentation, today's webinar. So I have a lot of great tips to share with you today. I could talk about this stuff all day, literally, Craig. And don't blame me for what you in trouble with your wife. That's on a business. I don't have anything to do with that at all. All right, so how do you renovate your finances? How do you change from being in debt and just having these dreams to, you know, living a prosperous and fruitful life and accomplishing your dreams? Well, it all starts with having a vision. So the first thing that I want you to do is envision the life and the lifestyle that you would have. If you had, you know, the world of money, what would you like to have? And even if it's not the world of money, even if it's a fairly simple dream of just, you know, owning your own home, what they used to say was the American dream, the white picket fence, the 2 kids and the dog. Even if it's something like sending your children to college, going on vacation each year, what is your ideal life? So the first thing it starts with is having a vision and having a goal. Write it down. Set those goals for yourself on paper. And then do a little research as to what these goals are going to cost. If you want to retire at the age of 40, how much money do you have to have saved up for you to be able to do that, to live off just off the income that you have accumulated and your investments and so on. So assign a monetary value to your goals. Now the next thing we're going to do is make a plan to get there. Now, the number one thing holding people back from accomplishing these dreams, well, yes, there's fear, but I think another big one is also debt. A lot of people are in a lot of debt. So you need to figure out what you're going to do about all of this debt. You need to set a plan to get out of debt, and you also need to learn how to use debt wisely, because not all debt is bad debt. There is such a thing as good debt, as Carolyn can tell you. There is such a thing as good debt. There's a way to use debt wisely. So once you get out of debt, this is going to free up money for you to be able to invest, to build wealth, and so on. So let's go over debt first, and then we'll get into building wealth. So the first thing that you need to do is apply for your credit report. You need to know where you stand. You need to know, okay, what the actual situation is. How bad is it? How bad am I in debt? How do lenders see me? How do they view me? What's on my actual credit report? And a lot of people don't know that we do have credit reporting agencies in Jamaica, and the banks and even the telecoms now, even the utilities are looking at that credit report before they decide whether they're going to, you can apply for, whether you can benefit from a postpaid plan, phone plan, for example, as opposed to a prepaid. If you want to go postpaid, they're going to look at your credit report. If you want to apply to Carolyn, they're going to look at your credit report. If you want to apply, sometimes even to places like courts, they might take a look at your credit report. So the first thing you need to do is to know how those lenders see you. What is the situation? The next thing that you want to do is use that information, as well as what you know about yourself, to evaluate your current debt situation. So make a list of all the loans that you have outstanding. Write down the balances on them, and write down, importantly, what the interest rate on those loans are. And some of them may surprise you. You might not even know what the interest rate on some of your loans are. So various places, most of the financial institutions, like the larger ones, are going to disclose that you're getting this car loan at 8.5%. You're getting your mortgage at 7.5%. But when you come to things like the microloans now and the higher purchases, they don't really tell you what the actual interest rate is. All they tell you is every Friday, pay me $2,000. And they never really disclose, unless you read the fine print, what the actual interest rate is. And you would be shocked to learn that some of those loans, the interest rate is as high as 80 and 100%. Yeah, extremely high interest rate. So whenever you see somebody tell you, just pay me back X amount every week, consider what is the actual interest rate. As a matter of fact, before I came here today, I went on a popular website, a hire purchase store, popular store, to see what their latest deals are. And I saw the cash price for a 65-inch TV. And the price for the TV, I wrote it down, 178,000 Jamaican dollars. And it was on sale for $133,000 if you paid cash. Or you could get this 65-inch TV for less than $2,000 a week. 1,900, where's the price? I wrote it down, $1,977.23 a week. So $2,000 a week, okay, can manage that. But I want you all right now to take out your calculator. Every phone have a calculator, right? Check it out. I'll give you a minute. Take out your phone, open up the calculator app on your phone. And how long, so when you read the fine print, how long is this loan? They don't really position it as a loan, but it really is a loan. Read the fine print. It's a 3-year loan. You're going to pay these people back in 3 years, $2,000 a week. How many weeks does that work out to? 156 weeks. So times 156 times $2,000, and at the end of 3 years, you pay $308,000 for this TV that you could have paid cash for. That's $133,000. So you have paid for the TV more than twice. You could have bought 2 TVs and pick up something extra. So, and it works out to 130% interest rate. You wouldn't believe it because it's not framed in that kind of way. You would have been better off using a different type of debt, such as taking a loan from Caroland at a much, much lower interest rate.
13 to 18%.
13 to 18% interest rate, buying that item, and you're done with it after a couple of months, after a few months. So assess the different types of debt that you have in your life. I don't know if you would be able to, you can try it. You can to go to the police. If you already have these types of items in your home on that type of arrangement, try going there and see if they'll be willing to let you pay off the balance early. Get a loan if you have to and pay off the balance early. I don't know if they'll be, because you already signed the agreement, but at least you know for the future as well. So that's one way. The next thing, so you want to list them by the total balance, the interest rate, and how long you have remaining on the loan. And then you want to make a plan to pay off your loan. So there are different things, different strategies that you can take. One of them is debt consolidation. And debt consolidation means taking one big loan to pay off all your other loans. So if you have credit card, and I didn't even talk about credit card loans, guess what the average credit card rate in Jamaica is? Anybody want to guess? This is where I would ask if this was a live event with people in the room, I'd ask people to raise their hands. But the average credit card rate, interest rate in Jamaica is 40%. 40%, and that's according to the Bank of Jamaica's Credit Conditions Survey. The most recent one was June to September 2020. 40%. The lowest credit card rate right now that I am aware of is 34%. A lot of credit cards are in the 50-odd% range. So you're paying very high interest rates on things like credit cards, microloans, hire purchase. So you can consolidate those types of debt, especially all those high interest rates. Take out one large loan, 13 to 18% from Caroline, for example, and pay off all those high interest debt. That's called debt consolidation. That's one strategy. Another strategy is called the debt snowball. So if you're familiar with the concept of a snowball, it can start off small, and then it rolls down the hill, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then at the end of it, you're done with all your debt. So you can choose to pay off either your highest interest debt first, or you can choose to pay off your smallest debt first. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with Dave Ramsey. He's a popular guy on YouTube, on social media. He has a great podcast too. He has his people do the debt-free scream, I'm debt-free. And his recommendation is that you pay off the smallest debt first because it gives you that win, that feeling of winning, like, yeah, I accomplished something. I won. I was able to pay off this debt. And then you move on to the next debt and the next biggest debt and the next biggest debt. I personally prefer going with the highest interest rate first for obvious reasons, because if you are paying 55% interest on that credit card, it's just going to set you back. It really, really makes a huge difference when you're able to tackle that debt. All right, so now that we've talked about debt, the next thing that we want to do, and perhaps we can do these two things in tandem, is look at our expenses. So track your expenses and make a budget. I'm not going to go into too much detail with this because we covered this extensively on the last webinar that I presented at, and that's what got Mr. Craig here in trouble. So he says anyway, way to blame me. I don't think that's my fault at all. So you can go back on Carolyn's Facebook page and look at that presentation about budgeting. But one of the big points that I made then was that before you can set a budget, you need to track your expenses. You need to actually know what you're spending money on every month. Where is your money going every month? So get an app like Home Budget app is the one that I like to use and that I recommend a lot. And put in every single, at least for 1 month, log every single expense. Every time you spend money on something, log it in your phone in the Home Budget app or another app that you might find that you like. And then at the end of the month, you can see where your money actually went and then use that as the basis to make a more realistic budget. So once you are doing that now, the next step is to build wealth and maximize your income. And this is my favorite part to speak about, actually. Let's get this money, right? Anybody familiar with me? I say that a lot. So we want to be building wealth and maximizing our income. And the thing about wealth building, why I went through debt reduction strategies earlier, is that it's really hard to do when you are in debt, but it's not impossible, especially depending on the type of debt that you have. For example, if you have a car loan or a mortgage, that's not necessarily debt that you need to pay off all of that completely before you can start building wealth and investing. You can still have that type of debt and invest at the same time. But if you have the high interest debt, the credit card debt, etc., that's something that you need to tackle in order for you to take the next step and build wealth. So there are 3 keys to wealth creation. 3 keys, 3 pillars to wealth creation. Number 1 is investing. So we look at things like the stock market, we look at bonds, we look at other types of securities. And you can speak to an investment advisor, open an investment account at any one of the brokerage firms in Jamaica. You can DM me, ask me questions. I'll be happy to help and guide you along that path. Look at my beginners playlist, for example, on YouTube. Number 2 is, and before I move on to number 2, so investing really is the easiest one to get started in, because you can get started literally with as little as 100 Jamaican dollars. It does not take a whole lot of effort nor a whole lot of money to get started with investing in the stock market, for example. The second key to wealth creation now is real estate investing. So people especially in a time like COVID, you would have noticed that real estate prices have not gone down. In fact, some of them probably have gone up. And that is because real estate is considered a safe haven investment. So a lot of people have flocked to real estate, put their money in real estate. The disadvantage, obviously, is that it requires a lot more money up front. So you would either have to have that cash in hand or take out some type of financing, so a mortgage through a financial institution in order to get involved in the real estate space, whether it is buying and selling for a profit or using Airbnb, you guys spoke about that in the previous segment, or however you want to get involved in real estate, or long-term rentals, because that can bring in passive income for you every month, whereas you just sit down and collect. So people are paying you rent every month and you don't really have anything that you need to do. You just collect that money in your bank account each month. And then the third key to wealth creation is entrepreneurship, starting your own business, which can be quite lucrative, but the disadvantage is it is the most time-consuming of the 3. Easily, you are going to put blood, sweat, and tears into building a business. It can take several years for you to see a return. But if done right, it can be probably the most profitable of the three. So, and the one thing that all three have in common is ownership of assets. So you want to start owning assets that are going to earn you money. You want to start owning things as well that are going to earn you passive income. So when I say sit down and collect, I literally mean that you can collect money, you can make money in your sleep. Have your money work for you. So those are the keys to renovating your finances. I really hope that you guys take this to heart. And you can DM me all over social media if you want information. You can link people at Caroland as well. They can definitely give you a hand.
Well, thank you so much, Galila. That was such an engaging presentation. And we're going to go to a short break to allow you guys to come up with your questions, and then we'll field them when we come back.
You have a plan. Getting a loan to do it shouldn't feel like an adventure or have you jumping through hoops. It should be quick, convenient, and affordable. It should be a VM eLoan powered by Caroland, the completely online loan solution that fits your lifestyle. Apply from anywhere on any device in 15 minutes, get your answer within 1 business day, and receive your funds within 1 to 3 business days. Get the money you need when you need it. VM eLoan powered by Caroland. Get funded fast. That room you want to fix up? Now you can do it quickly and affordably. Get the money you need to spice up your space. VM eLoan powered by Caroland. Get funded fast.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are now going to take your questions. So the first question is, what should I do if I spend more than I budgeted for? The classic case.
All right, so don't panic. First of all, this is why you're supposed to create a realistic budget. So if you know that you always do your nails and you don't have that on your budget, make sure that you put that on there so that when the end of the month comes and you went over budget because you did your nails and you promised yourself you wouldn't, then you know that's already accounted for. But if you do spend more than you had planned to spend, then all you have to do is readjust your budget. So budgets are flexible things. They are not, you know, set in stone that it is there in chiseled, like literally chiseled in stone, especially using the software that we use today, Excel spreadsheets and apps and so on. You can just tweak your budget. So if you realize that you spent more than you had planned to spend, then you take a look back at your budget and see, okay, what can I cut back on? So if you had planned in your budget to spend $10,000 on entertainment this month, but you realize that you went over budget on food, then you might need to cut back on the entertainment budget for this month. And you can't go out again as you had planned or something else. So you can look at other areas in your budget that have some flexibility and just readjust. Or you can put it over to next month and readjust for the following month so that you have the money to pay back for this month.
All right, thank you. And we have one more we had one from Desi Francis, who was asking you how, she just asked simply, how do I invest in real estate?
How do you invest in real estate? All right, well, that's a long question. It's a long process. So you can use, if you have the money, if you have a lot of money up front, you go out and find a house or whatever property that you want to invest in and buy it. If not, then the strategy that most people use is getting a mortgage. But then you also need to do the research as to what type of property do you want to invest in? What is the reason that I want to invest? Do I want to flip this house? That's become popular on like HGTV and A&E and those channels. They buy a property, so they'll find a rundown property in a good neighborhood, renovate it, and then sell it at a much higher price so they make a profit from it. Or you may want to have a more long-term strategy of rental. So you buy a property, and this property is a rental property, then I'm going to earn income from this every single month. So if you want that ongoing income, you can do rental property. You can do Airbnb property, not the best right now because there is no tourism, but you know, when tourism rebounds, Airbnb could be a good way to invest in property as well. You even have people who would rent a property and then sublet as Airbnb, so you don't necessarily have to buy a property to do a short-term rental like that, as long as it's allowed under the agreement. So there are many different ways that you can invest in real estate. And another way is also to invest in real estate stocks.
Yeah.
So you have like the REITs, Real Estate Investment Trust, you have Proven REIT, you have First Rock Capital, you have Panjam Investments. Those are companies on the stock, listed on the stock market, and how they make money is by investing in real estate. So they basically do the heavy lifting, you invest in them, and when they make a profit, you get a portion of that profit.
Thank you very much, Kalila. I'm sure the listeners, the viewers enjoyed your presentation. I know they learned a lot. I certainly did. And just thank you again for all your efforts.
Thank you, Craig.
You have a plan. Getting a loan to do it shouldn't feel like an adventure or have you jumping through hoops. It should be quick, convenient, and affordable. It should be a VM eLoan powered by Caroland, the completely online loan solution that fits your lifestyle. Apply from anywhere on any device in 15 minutes, get your answer within 1 business day, and receive your funds within 1 to 3 business days. Get the money you need when you need it. VM eLoan powered by Caroland. Get funded fast. That room you want to fix up? Now you can do it quickly and affordably. Get the money you need to spice up your space. VM eLoan, powered by Caroland. Get funded fast.
Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. And now it's my time to introduce myself. Now, you've been listening to Craig Stephen all this time. I have over 15 years experience in the financial sector. I started in banks, I moved to credit unions, and then microfinances. And then I also shared an entrepreneurial spirit with our first presenter, Joel, because I was a co-founder of the first licensed credit bureau in Jamaica, which is Credit Info. And my sojourn of my financial journey, so to speak, carried me through all of the facets of loans, from a loans officer to a manager where I was adjudicating credit. And then I went into the credit risk department when I co-founded Credit Info, because I saw where there was a difficulty in accessing the right information you needed to make good, proper decisions on loans. And one of the best tools to help make informed decisions in the credit market is a credit bureau. So I helped engineer the start of the credit bureau. I ran it for a few years, and then I noticed that you started one place, and then you realized there was an issue, and you went out and you solved that problem. And then now there's another issue where now you've created this information that helps people to make decisions, but are they using that information in the way that you intended? And being at the bureau, you weren't able to actually impact people's lives directly. Yes, you do indirectly, but not directly. Therefore, when I came to Caroland, it was an opportunity now for me to take a more control in people's direct decision making and impact that decision making with the information that was created from the bureau. So my journey has carried me through the full credit life cycle, and I have an expert understanding from the beginning of a loan till the end of a loan, right? And that's why I was offered the opportunity to be the country head of Caroland and take this great entity that started in Barbados into the Jamaican realms and bring a new, fresh, online, purely online product to the Jamaican market. And with the help of the VMBS, we are doing so. So thank you all for being here. And that's a little bit about me. And I can speak about 2 good things, great things that happened since I've been here at Caroland. which speaks to the impact that I always wanted to have on the lending market. When one day I got a call from a customer who said, he picked up the phone and he just said, "Thank you." I was like, "Hello, who is this?" He's like, "Thank you very much." I'm like, "To whom am I speaking?" And he said his name, and I said, "Who would you like to speak with?" And he said, "Anybody at Caroland." And I was like, "Why? You sound very happy. You seem to have woken up on the right side of the bed this morning." And he said, "Yes, I'm very happy because I'm now the proud owner of a new home. I have my keys in my hand, and it could not be possible without Caroland." And I was like, "Oh, you got through, congratulations." And I remember the case because it was a gentleman who had issues at work in terms of his employers were unwilling to facilitate any more deductions for him because he seemed to be over indebted, very stressed. The same consolidation that Kalila mentioned earlier, he needed that. And his employers were unable to assist him unless we, Caroland, would pay out certain debts that he had and reduce his debt service ratio. Now, we thought that was very noble because that's like your employer working with the lender to try and assist the employee in making the right decision and steering him in the right direction, because people tend to forget that when you take a loan now, it's not for now, but it's for the foreseeable future, right? So you have to set up yourself and put yourself in a position to be able to finance that loan over a period of time. And that's where we got the help from his employer. Now, we were able to confirm with them, send messages, emails, letters to confirm what we would do. And they facilitated his deduction, and he was able to get through now. We didn't lend him all the money for the house now. What he fell short, there was some legal costs that he had and some closing costs that he was unable to take care of. He was just maxed. And we were able to help him out. And because of our help, he was able to go into his new home. And he had to call to tell us thank you for it. So that was me actually feeling the impact of the Bureau and all the work that I've put into the lending market. And it felt good. There was another lady whom she was having difficulties as well. Employers were, let's say, reluctant to assist her in doing a salary deduction. However, this lady, she was sending money to VMBS for her mortgage at the time. And because of our partnership, we worked on arrangements with an arrangement which enabled her to increase her deduction that was already going to VMBS. And we were able to take her payment from there and facilitate her. And what she did with those funds was she sent her daughter to dentist school in Ukraine, because apparently, I didn't know this, that Ukraine is one of the best places to do dentistry or dental school. And I thought it was noble that she was willing to send her daughter halfway across the country in order to get the best education possible. That somebody will go the extra mile to assist. And she had to call as well, and she was very grateful, and she has kept up to date with us in terms of her daughter's travel, and we try to keep that level of relationship with our client base. So just to say that throughout my journey of the credit market, this was one of my last stops in terms of, yes, he used to lend early and have an impact on people's lives, but there was misinformation that didn't allow you to make the best decisions. He did something about that by helping to create a company that improved information in the marketplace. Now you're back into that place where you're able to use that information to create the impact on people's lives that you always intended to do. So I'm very proud of that, and we hope that we'll have many more cases like that in the future of customers who have seen a great benefit from the funds that they've gotten from Caroland. Now, you might think, what made them so special? Why did they get through versus anybody else? A lot of people have gotten through, and they did nothing different from what everybody else has to do in order to get a Caroland loan, right? Because our loans are very quick, very easy, and all you need to do is go to our website at caroland.com, and there's a registration process that you will go through, which is very similar to creating an email address. You go, once you register, and you provide that email address and you confirm that email address, then you're able to go in and make a loan request. And everything is done online. Now our loans run from 150,000 Jamaican all the way up to 1.5 million. We used to be at $1 million. We have increased it because we've listened to the market, we've learned from the market, and we have adjusted. Right? 1.5 million is our max offer, and we do allow up to 5 years to repay those loans. Right? And what is required to get one of these loans, it's very simple. Once you have registered and you fill out all the information that's required in the new loan request, which is basic information about where you live, your employment, your personal details like your age and so forth. Once you complete that, then there'll be 5 documents that you're required to upload to our system. And these 5 documents are very important because without them, you'll not be able to have a loan processed. 4 of them are things that are very within your control. 1 is your ID. 2, you'll need to take a selfie, which is a picture of yourself, not a picture of a passport picture, not a glamour shot, but you holding your camera and taking a picture of yourself. Very important. So the ID is 1, the selfie is 2. The third thing that you'll need is your last 2 months bank statements. Now we say bank statements because it's commonly used, but when we say bank statements, we mean credit union, bank, or any of those or a building society. So if you have your salary going to any one of those types of institutions, you can send the last 2 months statements to our in your loan application, and you also need your last 2 months pay slips. So those are 4 things that are within your control. You can go out and grab those items. The 5th thing that you will need is an employment letter. And that employment letter is something that's not within your control. And if you know you're going to request a loan from Carolyn, you need to go and request that job letter addressed to us, because it cannot be older than a month when it comes to us, right? The job letter is very important for our assessment. Once you have all those 5 documents and you upload, then we will see it on the back end, and somebody will respond to you within 24 hours or 1 business day to let you know, how you are in the process, if you're successful, if you're not, if there's additional documentation which may be required. So somebody will reach out to you within 24 hours of you supplying all your documentation. So if you just upload the ID or the pay slip, don't expect that you're going to get a response within a day because you have not provided all the documentation. So once you, that's really it. So you fill out some personal information and basic details that you'd have, and you upload 5 documents. And the reason, you notice in the documentation that I mentioned, I didn't ask you to provide documents or proof of the thing that you wanted to borrow for, because that's not important to us at Carolyn. We're more concerned about your ability to repay. Your purpose is important for us to understand the market, but we don't require any proof or evidence of the purpose of what you're borrowing for, and that adds to the convenience of a Carolyn loan, right? So we have a very quick and easy loan offer. Everything is done online in terms of registration, application, getting your responses, and also dispersal is done online because everybody has internet banking and online banking now, right? So your funds are sent to you via wire transfers, and you can collect your money right away. So it's very quick, very easy, very convenient, right? And we don't require any evidence for the purpose of the loan. So we do have a few minimum requirements. There are no upfront fees in order to apply. So you have a number of organizations that you would go to where you may be required to pay for the credit report and so forth. We don't do that at Carolyn. Yes, we do a credit check, but you're not required to pay any upfront fees. If your loan is approved, there are some fees that are applied at that point in time, and you'll be informed of all of them before you make your decision to accept the loan, right? But nothing is applied upfront. And there's also a minimum salary requirement of just about 70,000 per month that you need to be earning net pay after your statutory deductions. are taken out. And this net pay is there to protect us and you as well, because we don't, of course, we don't want to over-indebt persons who are unable to afford the loans. So when we started, our minimum was higher. We have done market analysis since we've been here, and we've lowered it. So it has opened up the doors to more persons to be able to apply to us for a loan. So we're a company that has come with a very unique, I would say, fast, convenient product, and we also listen to the market, and we adjust. And that's what's one of the great things and unique things about Caroline Jamaica. So that is our offer. And of course, if you go to our website at caroline.com, or you visit any one of our social media profiles, at our Facebook profiles at Caroline Jamaica, or Instagram profiles at Caroline Jamaica, you'll get more information about our offer. And of course, you can always call us. Feel free to call us, right? So that's that on, that ends my presentation on me. Some experiences, great experiences that we've had at Caroline and what our offer is all about. And, you know, I wouldn't have you guys sitting down here all night without anything to give away. So we do have a promotional giveaway today. And, of course, later on I'll give you some more information about what it actually is and what you can win. But the first correct answer gets their first 2 payments waived on their loans if they get a loan from Caroline. And I can tell you, it's not a scam, because persons have benefited from it. Persons have won this prize, and they've gotten their loans and not have to pay anything. We're not talking about waiving interest. We're talking about waiving your payment altogether, right? Some people talk about moratoriums where the moratorium is more of a delayed payment, not a waived payment. So we're actually waiving 2 payments for persons if you can answer the question correctly. So I hope you've been listening, right? And we will give you that question right after our short break.
You have a plan. Getting a loan to do it shouldn't feel like an adventure or have you jumping through hoops. It should be quick, convenient, and affordable. It should be a VM eLoan powered by Caroline, the completely online loan solution that fits your lifestyle. Apply from anywhere on any device in 15 minutes, get your answer within 1 business day, and receive your funds within 1 to 3 business days. Get the money you need when you need it. VM eLoan powered by Caroline. Get funded fast.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And before we get into the promotional giveaway, which I know everybody wants to get to, there were a few questions emanating from my presentation. I'd like to go through a few. The first one is, does Caroline lend? That's a tongue twister. Does Caroline lend for loan consolidation, and at what interest rate? Yes, we do. It was mentioned earlier that the gentleman was able to purchase his home. He had debts that he needed to consolidate, and the interest rate is not affected by the reason you're borrowing, right? Interest rate is more affected by the overall assessment of your credit risk. So it would still range between 13 and 18%. But in terms of a consolidation, it's not an invitation for persons to, what we could say, package all their bad debt and bring to Caroline, right? Debt consolidation is what it is. We can help you pay out loans that we believe are higher interest rate than ours, and our loan will give you a benefit. But it's not, just because we do debt consolidation doesn't mean that you're going to take all bad debt and bring to Caroline. So yes, we do offer debt consolidation, and the interest rate is the same as any other loan. Another question is, how can I get assistance with the application if I have trouble? Yes, some people have trouble from time to time because we're purely online. You may have technical issues from time to time, but what we do is we offer assistance. You can email us at infojam@caroline.com. So that's info jam, J-A-M, not info at Caroline, that will go to Barbados. Info jam at Caroline. A message will come to us and somebody will respond to you with some assistance, or you can give us a call at 618-8865. So you can always visit our website to get all our contact information, but we do offer guidance via phone or via email. We have a question, what's the maximum loan amount that we offer? It's 1.5 million, as I mentioned earlier. Another question is, how do I know if I've been approved, and how soon will I know? That's an important question. How will you know? You will know via email, because most of our communication happens via email. Of course, if there's any delays, you can always reach out to us via phone, but you will get an email to advise that you have been approved, and you will see your loan terms and contract for you to accept those terms and your repayment method, and then dispersal can take place thereafter. The last question now is that if I want to do some home improvements and consolidate debt, can I do both with the same loan? So the key is, can I do home improvement as well as consolidate debt? And that must be a trick question, because I did mention earlier that the purpose of a loan doesn't matter and you don't need to provide evidence. So if it is that you have these things to do and they fall within the maximum loan that we lend of 1.5 million, then yes, it is possible. Okay? So are there any questions at the top? No, so all right, wonderful. So now we get on to tonight's giveaway, splashing and dashing. So I'm about to give the question now, and after I give the question, I believe we'll go to a short break, and we'll give you guys some time to come up with your answers. Now, question is, today we learned some great ways that borrowers, just like you, can renovate their homes on a budget and renovate their financial lives to help them achieve their goals. Our question tonight is, what evidence of your home improvement plans would you need to supply when you submit your application? You'd like me to repeat the question? I'll say it a little quicker. Today we learned of some great ways that borrowers just like you can renovate their homes on a budget and renovate their financial lives to help them achieve their goals. Our question tonight is, what evidence of your home improvement plans would you need to supply when you submit your application? And we go to a short break.
You have a plan. Getting a loan to do it shouldn't feel like an adventure or have you jumping through hoops. It should be quick, convenient, and affordable. It should be a VM eLoan powered by Caroline, the completely online loan solution that fits your lifestyle. Apply from anywhere on any device in 15 minutes, get your answer within 1 business day, and receive your funds within 1 to 3 business days. Get the money you need when you need it. VM eLoan powered by Caroline. Get funded fast. That room you want to fix up? Now you can do it quickly and affordably. Get the money you need to spice up your space. VM eLoan, powered by Caroline. Get funded fast. Sometimes you need to cover expenses without breaking the bank. Do it with a loan that's quick, affordable, and completely online. Get the money you need when you need it. VM eLoan, powered by Caroline. Get funded fast.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and guess what? We have a winner. I didn't think this was an unwinnable prize. I'm pretty sure I gave it away towards the end. But we do have a winner, and our winner is Kenisha Webb from YouTube. And we also, is this another winner? And we have a second winner, who is Kenroy Sinclair. So congratulations to Kenisha Webb and Kenroy Sinclair. Kenroy Sinclair is logged in via Facebook and Kenisha via YouTube. So this shows that we're across all the platforms. And we thank you for participating in tonight's giveaway. And congratulations to you both as winners. And we hope that you're successful in your loan application so that you can benefit from your prize like others have in the past. So thank you very much. And I'm sure I gave away that one. So anyhow, that is the end of our giveaway session. And we now will go to our CEO at Caroline, Mark Young, who will give our closing remarks. And thank you all again for participating and spending most of, if not all of the seminar, the webinar with us today. Thank you.
Thanks, Craig. And thank you everyone for joining us this evening. What a great lineup of speakers. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did and learned as much as I did. I particularly liked Joelle's presentation and learning from her. I'll never again will I buy the wrong size rug, and I'll make sure I get one that's big enough for my room. And what was also good to learn from Joelle was that you can renovate on a budget, save money at the same time, and also be great and good for the environment. That was a really great set of tips from Joelle. From Kalila, well, we heard lots and lots of tips from Kalila. She's always got lots to add to help you learn to how to manage your financial affairs. And it was great to hear from her about how you can consolidate your loans with cheaper rate loans and make sure that you get your debt service down and reduced. And obviously, that's something you can do at Caroline. Most people don't realize that they're paying over 40% on their credit card. And that's a great purpose for using your loan from Caroline to consolidate those debts, get a lower monthly payment on a lower interest rate. So thank you to all of our speakers. And also thanks, Craig. Craig, thank you for the great job you're doing there at Caroline in Jamaica and making sure that more and more consumers find out about Caroline Jamaica, find out about our products and our services, and give that great customer service to everybody every single day. Thank you all online for joining us. Great questions on Facebook, great questions on YouTube. We love answering them all. Please feel free to continue to add questions to the stream and also to email us, contact us on our, subscribe to us on our Facebook pages, on our YouTube channels, and contact us on our website and also on our email at infojam@caroline.com, as Craig mentioned. Thank you all for attending, and please look out, make sure you subscribe to us on social media so you hear about the next in our series of webinars when we next schedule one. Thank you all for joining us, and thanks again to our speakers. Thank you.
You have a plan. Getting a loan to do it shouldn't feel like an adventure or have you jumping through hoops. It should be quick, convenient, and affordable. It should be a VM eLoan powered by Caroline, the completely online loan solution that fits your lifestyle. Apply from anywhere on any device in 15 minutes, get your answer within 1 business day, and receive your funds within 1 to 3 business days. Get the money you need when you need it. VM eLoan powered by Caroline. Get funded fast. That room you want to fix up? Now you can do it quickly and affordably. Get the money you need to spice up your space. VM eLoan powered by Caroline. Get funded fast.